guys, welcome to my channel, Joy's Reading Time. Today I've decided to read my book that I wrote, The Therapist, by myself, Deborah Lewis. Now, this book is about 3 women and they've made a pact to get married within a year. Now, 2 women, the main character is Sandy. 2 of the women, they already have their partners. They just want to convince them to marry them. Where Sandy, she just goes through different relationships. She wants to find the right partner. But the problem is she always chooses the wrong men. Now she's a professional. She's a therapist. She has 5 children. Well, she calls them her 5 adults. But they always complaining about the guys she meets. Now this one of the guys in particular, his name is Ras, aka Michael. And, she really likes him, but her children does not. Anyway, you really will like this book. It's quite good. So I'm going to jump in, but I'm going to start somewhere in the middle of it. I'm going to start at chapter 3. It is raunchy, a little bit of erotica. Now, I will call the male part Tony and the female part Sally. So I'll jump right in. I start at chapter 3. Hope you like it, and hope you, if you have not bought it, please purchase it, because I feel not just because I wrote it, I've got wonderful reviews, how it's relatable, it's fun, and some people said, I couldn't put the book down. So here we are, chapter 3. Sandy woke and looked at her clock. It was 8:30 a.m. and their first client was at 10 a.m. She went to the bathroom and stepped into the shower. As the water touched her, Sally, she felt a sharp sting. "Oh, F! I've torn," exclaimed Sandy to herself. Ras was awake when Sandy came out of the shower with her blue towel wrapped around her. Ras looked at her and smiled. "Ready for round 2, he asked. "You think I've got nothing to do but F you all day? I thought that you had to get up early and go to work." "Yes, but I'm waiting for a phone call. I'm hungry. Make me a coffee and an egg sandwich, please." "You F me the F off, honestly," Sandy responded. "What's your problem?" retorted Ras. I told you that I had to be up early, so your client is coming to your house. It's not as if you have to go on the road." "That's not the point. I like to feel relaxed before I see anyone. I don't like to feel rushed and bothered," she snapped. "I've noticed from the other day you've been acting funny. I'm not stupid, Sandy. You women think that because you have your fancy education that you can take man for fool. But I'm no fool, Sandy." Ras was interrupted by the vibrating of Sandy's phone. She picked it up and saw that Teddy was ringing her. She did not answer it, and the phone stopped, then started to vibrate again. Ras looked at Sandy. She could see the lines forming on his forehead. "Who is it? Why don't you answer your phone?" "It's an unknown number. I'm not answering no unknown number." "So what time are you leaving?" "I'm leaving in a bit, babes. Can you please make me a cup of coffee? I'm hungry. I gave you some good sex last night, so you need to feed me," said Ras, smiling and rubbing his stomach. Sandy said nothing. She was annoyed and frustrated. She wanted Ras to leave, but she was trying her best not to offend him. She got dressed. She wore a purple fitted V-neck dress, which was just below her knees. The sleeves were 3/4 length, with a silver chain and matching earrings. She did her makeup and hair. Sandy loved that her hair was short. It was a lot easier to manage. Sandy went to the kitchen to make breakfast. Cammy was sitting at the table in her nightwear. "Morning, honey. No work today?" she asked. "No, Mum. You forgot it's my day off. So how was your date?" asked Cammy with a big smile. It was good. He seems okay." "You don't sound too excited." "Well, man is man. Who knows? Things always seem good in the beginning, so I'll see." "Okay, well, I'm going back to bed and get out of your way before your client comes." Sandy had thought that all her adults would be out the house. She didn't want any of them to see Ras. She knew that none of them liked him. They had made it clear on many occasions, especially Cammy, who continuously verbalized her dislike of him. Sandy knew that they were right, and their assumptions of him with their assumptions of him. They felt that he was a liar and a cheat and no good for her. Sandy wanted Ras to leave early so that none of the household would see him. She wanted to keep her business to herself. She hoped that she could get him out of the house before Cammy saw him. Sandy made Ras's coffee and egg sandwich and brought it to him. Look, babes, my client is coming in a bit. I'm going to prepare for her, so just relax until I finish. This was a repeated scenario with Ras. Sandy was fed up with Ras saying that he would leave early, then making excuses. She would not have minded if Cammy were not at home. She was frustrated that Ras had put her in the predicament again of one of her adults seeing him. So how long will you be? It's just a 50-minute session. My next client is at 12. I will drop you up the road when I'm finished. Cool, I'm just going to relax and watch some news. Do you want anything else from the kitchen? No, maybe we can have round 2 when you come back. You're so effing annoying. For 1, I tore. 2, I'm busy working, which you should be doing as well. How you tear? You were really wet, plus I used the lubricating jelly. You know this happens when we don't have sex for a while. It's not that as if you're small, Ras. It's not as if you're small, Ras smiled. I'll take my time and push it in. He then grabbed Sandy and pulled her onto the bed. Let me go, protested Sandy. Ras climbed on top of her and pinned Sandy's arm above her head. Sandy fought back in vain. Look, Michael, you're peeing me off. My client will be here in 10 minutes. I have no time for your foolishness. Just 2 minutes, that's all. I won't even come. I just want to feel your wet, Sally. Just 2 minutes, that's all. Ras stared deep into Sandy's eyes. Then, whilst holding her hands with one hand, he pushed the other hand between her legs. He pulled her knickers to one side and pushed his finger into her vagina. Oh, her V. Don't know if I should have said that. Your Sally is so wet. He then stroked his finger back and forth. Sandy relaxed. He kissed her deeply, sucking her tongue whilst still fingering her. Sandy opened her legs further, allowing him to take control. Sandy kissed him back passionately. Ras relaxed and let go of her hands. She held his face and looked at him. Babes, you know you always turn me on, and I want to feel you inside me as soon as I'm finished with this client. I'm all yours, she said in a soft, warm voice. Okay, babes, hurry up and come back, he replied as he eased himself off her body. She got up, straightened her clothes and checked herself in the mirror. Ras stood next to her and rubbed her ass. You look good, babes. I could stay in bed and F you all day. Sandy looked at him and smiled. Of course you could, babes. Of course you could, she replied as she walked out the door and went downstairs. Sandy knew that it was pointless fighting with him. She had work. She had to start work. Sex was the last thing on her mind. She needed to get Ras out of her house before Cammy saw him. Sandy finished with her client and went into the kitchen. Cammy was sitting at the table eating a salmon bagel. Mum, why is he here? I thought that you weren't going to see him anymore, asked Cammy in an annoyed tone. I know. I hoped that he would be gone, replied Sandy, feeling like a child being scolded by her mother. Look, Mum, your private thing is your private thing. I understand. But I walk in here and there he is in the kitchen making himself a drink. I was so shaken. Why does anyone have to know that he is here? He was making himself a drink, asked Sandy. Yeah, why does he always like to act as if he's man a yard, as if he pays rent or something? I thought you were on a date last night. Mum, you're not gonna meet anyone good if you keep that loser around. Okay, Cammy, I hear you, she replied, feeling quite annoyed as she walked out of the kitchen and went upstairs to the bedroom. Ras was sitting on the bed watching TV. He turned and looked at Sandy as she entered the room. You finished now? He asked. Yes, for now, she replied. Why did you go down to the kitchen? She asked as she sat down on the chair opposite her bed. What's wrong? I went to get a drink. Then Cammy walked in. The look she gave me was not good. What? She said something? He asked, looking concerned. Michael, I live with my children and not all the time I want them in my business. I only agreed to you to come last night because you said that you had to get up early. Yeah, but I did not receive a phone call saying that I had to come in today. I asked you what you wanted before I saw my client so that you would not have to go to the kitchen. So what you're saying, I can't go to the kitchen for a drink if I'm thirsty? He replied, raising his voice. I'm not saying that I don't want my children in my business. I would have preferred Cammy not to see you. Ras stood up and started to get dressed. You're letting your children rule you. Furthermore, they're not children, they're adults. You need to take charge of your house. That's not the point. They know that you don't treat me right. They know that whenever I ask you to help me with something, you disappear. They just want the best for me. Ras kissed his teeth. Just drop me up the road. Let me go about my business. I've no time for this crap. I went to get a drink. I don't see what the problem is. Sandy wanted to ask him if he provided drink money, but she thought better of it. She grabbed her car keys and pulled on her black suede boot and her black leather jacket. Ras followed her out to the car. They both walked in silence. On the way back from dropping off Ras, Sandy remembered Teddy. She had received 10 missed calls. She knew that he was going to question her about not answering her phone. Sandy decided to speak to her after she saw her next client. She arrived home and went to her office to await her client. Her office was cozy with cream walls and beige deep pile carpet on the floor. Her desk was placed in front of her window, which faced the garden. There were 2 black chairs in the middle of the room. She had a picture of sunflowers on the side of the wall. She kept the room simple so that her client could focus more on the session instead of the room. She sat in her black leather chair and reflected on the situation with Ras. She understood Cammy's feelings concerning Ras, although at the same time she could relate to what Ras had said regarding her children ruling her. She felt that her children were now adults and what she did was her business. Sleeping with Ras was not affecting them, yet at the same time she knew that her children loved her and wanted to see her happy. Sandy knew that they knew that he did not make her happy. She thought about what she would say to a client in her situation. She would help the client to gain an understanding as to why they continue to prolong such an unhealthy relationship. If it were her friend, she would want to be the rescuing mother by telling her friend to stay away from him because he is undeserving of her. Why am I therefore continuing this relationship? She asked herself. Her thought pattern was distracted by the doorbell. Her client had arrived. I hope you liked that. Hope you enjoyed that. And if you do, I would suggest continue reading. It's very entertaining. Thank you for listening.